Hello. Alrighty. Cool. Hello, everyone. Hope you're doing great. Today, we're going to take a look into a lot of different things, but let me first get started with posting the links. Today will be a long live stream, so I do have way more time. I had quite the weekend at work, so today is my day off for sure. Today and tomorrow, probably. So, yeah, if you want to hang out and or you have to work or whatever, hey, just put it in the background, listen. Today we have a lot of updates for a lot of different phones actually, so it's going to be quite interesting. So let me get to this. All right, we are live, and then let me post it to this thing. All right, perfect. Dumbphone live stream. Now I'll go to the Reddit. Final link right here. Important tips. Sure, tech review, huh? Doesn't matter. General discussion. There you go. The Dumbphone live stream. August 2025. All right, post it. Cool. Some of you will show up in a little bit. So I'm kind of excited. Today I wanted to start by chatting about the my newsletter. So here's the newsletter. And if you haven't subscribed, make sure to subscribe to the newsletter. I'm excited that you are able to read some of the material that we're going through. Let me put it right there. So my latest post was on the topic of essentially letting go, and engaging why we can let go from the smartphone, life. That's just kind of like a reality nowadays that a lot of people live under. And I just wanted to chat about that because I think it's important. So there's my newsletter if you're checking it out. And deciding to take a look into it. So I did talk about a few topics in that newsletter and included a lot of research actually. That how smartphones are reshaping not only our physical bodies, they're reshaping our ability to be present in the world, and also the ability to kind of like comfort our existential security. So I highly recommend you go take a look at it. There are a lot of different studies and resources that I went through to produce this newsletter because I think it's important to have evidence that smartphones are indeed, designed to create this maybe dependency. So I think that's important to kind of like have an idea of. And yeah, so intro and newsletter. So we're going to do that. Besides those things, we do have some updates in the realm of Lightphone 3, Sidephone, the Blackberry, Zinwa project, and I do have a few extra ones that I think I will be excited. There's the Keyphone also. So we'll be going over a lot of that information today. And if you have any questions, make sure to put them in the comments, So again, we'll be here for quite a while, probably about 2 hours today, just because I think it's important to go over all of these things. There's a lot of things happening, and I think all of those things are quite important. So yeah. All right, so let's get started with some website updates. So let's just go over here. So we have the first thing I wanted to say is the Lightphone case for the folks from Dumb Wireless is now available, or it's going to be available quite soon. I'm getting my unit later today, but this one is a little bit different. So we're gonna watch the video. Let me know if you're able to watch the video. So I think it's happening. It's well. So essentially, this case does not have what the Lemur case, for example, has, which is like a front cover, right? So with the Lemur case, you have the front cover. With the Dumb Wireless case, there's no front cover. So highly recommend that you get a screen protector for that. But on the back, as you see, there is space for cards. So there's a space for cards right there. I talked to Will. He said 2 to 3 cards is very comfortable, and if you add 4 cards, it gets to be a little bit tight. They design it. I've been following, and talking with Will about the design and how it looks and how it works. The buttons are pretty satisfying to click. They represent well, how the phone operates, all that good stuff. And then you have the case in the back, that you're able to essentially put in a few cards and, have whatever it is that's necessary for you to, to use the card to make sure that you're using it to the best of your ability. So that's, super exciting. It's great to see a company develop cards and develop, the way that it looks. But you also have this middle area right here that is empty so that you can push them out, right? That's one thing that, I definitely think that when you're comparing this, and I will compare this to the Lemur case, which has more space, for the cards, but they are not easily accessible, right? Like, you have to open it and look into it, and then you get the card out. Whereas this has that easy access, on the thumb, you just slide it up and it doesn't cover the camera. So these are going to be running, I believe, $25. So it's pretty decently affordable price. And so in about a week or so, this week or maybe next week, they're going to be fully available. There are some nice little details like on the buttons, and also here, like if you are able to see, it says LP3. I'll put the link in the comments so that you can go check it out and also get that, kind of like, more information, and all of that good stuff. So I'm super excited about this case. Personally, is going to be my case. And so it's going to be the case that I will be using because I like the design, right? So I definitely have enjoyed the Lemur case so far. It has been quite helpful, quite interesting. It's definitely a good thing. But I do enjoy that quick access, right? Like, so sometimes I have been, going to maybe a place or whatever, and I have my bus card, right? So I have my tap bus card, and for one reason or another, I just don't have that ability to quickly access it, right? So when I'm going on the train, when I'm going on the bus, so it's just like, okay, well, I have to pull out the phone, open it, and kind of go to it. I talked with Fernando as well. Chatted with him some time ago, like that's probably maybe a month or a month and a half ago, and he was already considering about doing a revamp. So I'm excited. I actually pinged him today on the Discord, so to know if he's working on some extra stuff for the community, kind of like revamping some of this stuff. So we have been at 8 minutes, so probably from minute 3, I think, or so, or minute 5, I guess. We're gonna put the dumb wireless or Lightphone 3 updates and cases. So one thing, I guess, another thing to say about the Lightphone, I guess we can get over some of the Lightphone updates here, is there is supposed to be a big shipment. So the lightphone.com. So as you know, if you want to get the Lightphone, Lightphone 3 has been quite, getting the orders and, a lot of that stuff. But their expectation is to be able to fulfill pretty much every order now in October. A lot of the pre-orders up to I believe 46, the order 46,000 or something. And, after that, they're going to get to the next one. So I don't think they published a blog about this one, but it was, if I recall correctly, a newsletter. So MailChimp Lightphone. Let me just check. No, here, let me go get the link. I bookmarked it the other day so that I wouldn't have this issue. So they send an update for August, and they're gonna also send an update for September. And I'm just excited to be able to see more people with it. I'm really kind of happy to see some of these things. Let me do this. I'll try it. Okay. This is not working. That's interesting. Why is this not opening? Here, let me open it in a different browser maybe. Maybe that email was deleted. I don't know. Interesting. Give me a second. I'm trying to understand what's going on. Come on. Okay, let me go again to this, see if it opens. Maybe the access is not available anymore openly. I don't know. Or maybe something happened. Yeah, that's kind of interesting actually. So let me see. No, oh no, there it is. There it is. It's just wasn't readily available, everywhere. So let me reload. Okay. Yeah, for some reason something is happening here. Let me see if this opens. Yeah, I'm playing around with the MailChimp campaigns, but for some reason something is going on that doesn't allow it to upgrade or to be able to showcase the MailChimp. So maybe MailChimp is having some issues. So sorry, cannot not be able to showcase some of that stuff to you right now. I'll see. I'll continue trying maybe later. But yes, so they have big shipments. A lot of people have been getting their phones, and like you can see them, switching to it. But yeah, a big thing has been, kind of like allowing some of those things. And I think a big thing, and this is if you're still waiting for your order, is reach out to them and ask them if your accessories are the reason why things are getting slowed down. So there are some accessories that are not in stock. So they are trying to merge your order and send it with all of the accessories, but maybe it's not going to be in stock, maybe for another week or two. So if you just want to get the phone, reach out and say like, hey, I heard that, because there was an email that said like, hey, some accessories are a little bit delayed, but like we're going to send it to you as soon as we can. So if you're in that camp, make sure to reach out to them. And of course, if you want to cancel and you don't think this is for you anymore, that's up to you to decide, and like if it's been too long or you don't feel like waiting. A lot of people have been saying like, I'm not feel like waiting, and I'm gonna kind of like just do it. But I think it's a worthy phone, and I personally think that it has been serving me well since. I also wanted to talk about this kind of like in the general. There was a post that I saw today here on the Reddit, and this is the why is there no perfect device? I'm trying to find it. Let's see if I can find it from new. So it was just today I saw it. And yeah, here it is. So anyone else fed up with trying to find the right dumb phone? And I'm going to give you my answer, which I also put here. And to me, personally, it's more about learning to adjust to the phone that you have, and try to make it work than trying to find the perfect one. So I think that's very important. It's a mindset that you need to have, like that, hey, I'm not doing this just to kind of like circumvent technology. I'm not doing this just because it's like the cool thing to do. I'm doing this because it's a good thing for myself. And even the phone that I pick may not have all the things that I want. I'm going to still be able to commit to a lifestyle and be able to adapt to the lack of, NFC or RCS. And I'll have an RCS update, by the way, in just a second. So I think those things are very important, in my opinion, that allows me to kind of like be able to kind of like work with. So, like go check this one out. There's a lot of responses, and like a lot of people are like, hey, I tried different things and I eventually found the one that works for me. And that's what it is. You're trying to experiment. You're trying to find, you have that mindset of like, okay, I'm going to experiment. I'm going to see if this one works. Okay, this one doesn't work. And, don't try to spend tons of money and trying to find it, but just like start with the cheap ones. I started with the $20 flip phone. And then from there, you move on to the next one. It's like, well, a $20 flip phone did some things okay, but I miss directions. I miss podcasts. Okay, I'm going to go and see maybe a Cat S22 like is going to work. Oh, well, that's too smart. Maybe I want something more restricted. And then you find your way and you say like, okay, I'm adapting to this lifestyle. I'm adapting to this reality instead of just like, saying like, this is what I want. or this is what I need, that kind of stuff, right? So I think that's extremely important, and it really really helps with the mindset of adopting a simple lifestyle, a better life. So those are Lightphone updates. Another thing, I guess, one last thing is compatibility. So I talked with Joe. I sent him an email, and he let me know that some of the compatibility right now is kind of like waiting for some final internal things. All the lab tests, this goes for Canada. So this is the two carriers that they have verified, or I guess they're kind of working with officially. But there are a lot of people, and I think I saw some of you in the comments saying, "Hey, like it works with Rogers, I believe, or Bell." I think those are the other networks, right? Like the big networks, and some of them have been working without having to get that official certification. So I would say don't switch yet, because there are some internal kinks still kind of getting work. Same thing here in the United States with AT&T and Verizon. But instead, like look for, hey, let me just try it and see if it works with my carrier, right? So Freedom or Lucky or Rogers or whatever it is that you have, be able to check it out. The Lightphone 2, however, it is fully certified internally and externally. All the labs pass, and you can put your SIM card on it from these official ones, and of course unofficial ones you can also try. So use this compatibility checker is also really helpful for all of the different things. So highly recommend that you you at least check it out and see what you're trying to do. I'm gonna put one link if you want to purchase a Lightphone and you want to use the link from the channel. You're more than welcome to do so. It's not required, but up to you. And I'm gonna put it in the chat so that you can use it, and also in the description. So just excited to see a lot of people with their new devices and changing to the lifestyle. But I think that mindset is extremely important. I think that part of the mindset, here I said it, to me, it's more about learning to adjust to one phone, to the phone that you have, trying to make it work and trying to change your mindset about things than trying to find the perfect one, and then once you get fed up with your phone, or you're like, hey, you know what, I want a different experience. Yeah, go ahead, check it out, figure it out. And, again, adapt to that one. So, that's kind of like, some of the things that it works. And I think that what happens is just like a lot of people want QWERTY keyboards, or they want a certain app, or they want something to work. And it's like, well, the market is just not having those things. And you kind of have to adapt to what is available instead of dreaming, about this perfect device that will come out in the future. So those are Lightphone updates. And now we're going to move on to Sidephone updates. So let's continue at 18 minutes. So let's do it. 18 minutes. Or 19, I guess. Sidephone. Good developments and sad news as well. So the first thing is the new development is it's coming very soon. So they have a prototype. So the Sidephone, as you know, it's kind of like a candy bar style device with interchangeable, kind of like they're working on these interchangeable buttons and layouts, right? And you have the ability to use it. But there are demos now of the device working and being usable in the subreddit. So here I'm going to add a Sidephone link to those here. Boom, right there. And I will show you right now the Reddit Sidephone. And they have kind of like some video for, maybe there's already a full demo, video. But there are some camera samples, as you see right there, from the device. So it's starting to get a lot of that usability. And yeah, so, here it is. Let me turn off the volume. So the founder, so Chris, is, showcasing here, like, okay, it's working. It's definitely not, the top down, like, looking at all of the features. It's just saying like, hey, this is working. We're testing things. He is also talking about some of the go check this video out. I'm going to put it right there so you can see it, and you can see how, everything detaches pretty easily. I do have concerns about that detachment personally, just because it's kind of like, this is a hybrid device, right? Like, it's not a full dumb phone. It has access to the apps, that kind of stuff. But the device is already kind of like working. Here's Sebastian showcasing. He's the developer. And he's showcasing like, okay, there are things, the screens are working, the things are, kind of like moving, and they're doing everything that needs to happen. So they're working on it. They already have that working prototype, and they talked about the timeline to launch, and all of these things. Let me see if they also have the, no, so they don't have the full demo yet in the channel, but I guess it will be released at some point in time. So here, they're going to chat about all of the different things, but they have working screens, right? So they're already looking into developing more things. Now, sad news, unfortunately, is that there is no band 13, 66, or 71 for the United States. So there was kind of like a back and forth between like some of these things, but like here's Chris saying like, hey, Verizon is not going to be supported at this time. Those are sad news to me, because whenever you get a decent device and it's just like, okay, we're working with T-Mobile, and great, but most dumb phones already work with T-Mobile. It's that AT&T Verizon side of things that is like, very difficult to get to, right? So yeah, and it's kind of like a sad thing, of that, because of maybe some of the hardware or whatever, ergonomics or whatever they needed to do. Unfortunately, they were not able to do this thing, but they're trying to do this global, right? Like, device. They're just trying to get one device, and they're trying to look into it. So again, there's some conversation here that they may be able to get a few extra things here and there. And it's important to know, like, hey, if you have Verizon and you wanted this device, probably is not going to be the one that it is for you. So just kind of like in general, always research, and adapt to whatever it is that you need to adapt to. So those are good news. Hey, we have a working prototype, right? Like, some camera samples, etc., etc. All right. And then sad news, we don't have the ability to get some of this Verizon compatibility here in the United States, which is going to limit the kind of like popularity or everybody using this device. It's just what it is. This happens. There is nothing that can be done about that as of now. And I understand, it takes a lot of money to develop the bands and get the certifications. I think it's the right path for product version 1, and then you move to product version 2 eventually, and things will be hopefully better. They'll be better used. So yeah, that's a little bit of an update. I see some commentary here, but yeah, we'll get to questions in just a second. And so let's continue with the next update, which is the QWERTY keyboard Q25 Zinwa technologies. So this is the revival of the Blackberry Q20, or Blackberry Classic, as many know it. So Blackberry Classic revival at 24. So this device, again, also has me intrigued. I wouldn't drop the money yet, but again, working prototypes, pretty, I think it's a team of engineers that essentially took this project to make it work, and they have pretty working prototypes. You could reserve yours now, and I say that word reserve because I haven't seen, actually production demos there. But yeah, you can purchase it for $420, and there is like, yeah, this is the spec sheet, and how it works and all of that good stuff, right? So there's also one for $320, and I think this is essentially, they're sending you all of this stuff so that you can do it yourself. kind of like the modems that they've been able to work and that kind of stuff. Very talented team, and like, I mean, especially, of course, if you're an engineer, right, and you have the time to work on this passion project. And of course, if you have the knowledge, then this works great. So yeah, it's kind of like just looking into the revival of this device. It's going to be quite interesting. It's going to be using a MediaTek G99, which is, I believe, the same one that the Minimal Phone uses. Let me see, Minimal Phone, if I recall correctly. Let's see. Specs. Da, 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 da. Yep, there it is. So MediaTek Helio G99. So it is the same as this one. But of course, this one's different because it has a color screen, and like as you see right there, not the greatest quality, that one. But this one, yeah, you see Discord running. I believe they have an open Discord that you can check it out. And yeah, you're able to kind of like navigate and do all of the different things. So they're working on it. If you want more updates about the specific project, highly recommend that you follow Returning Retro. So he has a compilation of like, hey, essentially this is all the updates that we have. So I'll send that to the chat and you can check it out. Yeah, so he has pretty much all of the information on, hey, where is the project, how is it going, and that kind of stuff. So I highly recommend that you check out his channel and you can look into like, okay, how is it working? What like the trackball and what can you click and all of that good stuff. He put it in a shorter video for like 9 minutes. And he also has interviews with a lot of founders, a lot of people. He's talking to a lot of people on the live stream. He's doing like, these long form interviews. And if you want to check more information, highly recommend that you check out that. So, and if you want to check their website, here, I'll also include it here. And their website is xinhuatechnologies.cn. So yeah, it's a team based out of China, and they're kind of like working on this project and trying to bring it to life. I have not purchased it because I want to see it in the hands of customers. Definitely, I trust that they're working on it and that they're getting to it. It's just a matter of like, well, I want to see it working. I want to see somebody with it, or I want to see a full kind of pre-order page with like, okay, we're ready. Now it's not a pre-order thing. It's more of like, this is for sure happening. Cool. All right. Let's see what else. There is one more. Oh yes, Keyphone. So Keyphone. There is a Indiegogo thing here. Let's put Indiegogo. So the Keyphone people have reached their goal for production. So this is good. Let's see, 28 minutes. Let me put this in the, so 28 minutes. Oh, 28:40 or something like that. Keyphone. So the Keyphone updates here are pretty minimal. They're still on Fundraiser. So I think they came up on their deadline 2 days ago, but they expanded because a lot of people say like, hey, we still want to buy it, so they expanded. But they have, they're listening, and that's very, very important to me that they're listening. So if I recall correctly, now they're going to be including email on their page, but they have kind of like a form for backers to give extra information like, hey, what kind of email, right? Like, do you want to have the full thing? Do you want to have the, access to the attachments or no attachments? What's distracting? What's not distracting, right? So you can still go and support this campaign. Let me give you a link. Let's see, Keyphone. Let me see. I don't know where it is. They gave me a specific link. That's what I'm trying to find. Again, it's just, but it doesn't matter. I don't think if I use that one or I just share another one. So I'll just share another one. So not that big of a deal. Share a Keyphone. There it is. That's the one. Okay. Oh, I see. I had to reply to something. Oh, okay. So that's not a big deal. Here, I'll just send it back to the regular campaign. And I'll put it here. So there it is. Cool. All right. So the Keyphone, as you see right there, is, has only basic access, but it seems like they're listening. We talked about email before. Seems like a lot of people are sending them this feedback. It's like, hey, we want a private or maybe less distracting device, but we still want access to a few of these things. And they have a lot of statistics, a lot of things on their campaign. I did get the, I'm in their page. I think I already thought this, but hey, that's great. So I am in their page there because I agree. I think it's, and what I said, I think it's a bridge between a minimal device, something that you can use, and something that you can have for your kind of like productivity, typing without a lot of the distractions that the modern world brings. So yeah, highly recommend that you check that out. The Keyphone right there. And so I heard or I understood that they were going to send the first referrals in August. There was like a beta phone right here. I backed that one. I have not received confirmation, and there is about 6 days left in the month of August. So we'll see if it gets to August. But at the end of the day, I also understand, if they ship it, they're trying to optimize a few things here and there. But I backed it, because again, I purchase every device that I review, and I make sure to give my as much as unbiased opinion. But of course, I also have bias. But yeah, I think it's helpful. So once I get it, we'll probably go through a live stream first because it's not final production. I don't want to do a review on a pre-production or like beta device. So we'll get to the full review in a few. So okay, all right, that's good. I think those are all the updates I have. There is one more product that I wanted to put on your radar before we get to like demos, and that kind of stuff, and that is this paper monitor. So a lot of the things that I like to talk about are specifically with paper monitors and e-ink technology and more mindful technology. Actually, there's another thing that I wanted to share with you, but this is the first thing that I wanted to share, which is the Moto's laptop or developer or that kind of like e-ink device is finally up for purchase, so you can get these devices. You won't get them right away. They are quite far away. This is kind of like a Kickstarter, but you have here their options. So you can get a 6-inch device, or you can get I believe this is 13 inches. Yes, 13. So it is either $199 for 6 inches for this developer kit. And everything is open source. Everything is, available for the community. So that's a very, very good thing. And then you have the 13-inch Moto's Paper Dev Kit, which is essentially, $599. And you can essentially connect, I believe, all of them, Linux, Windows, or Mac, and you have that ability to connect them and be able to use them. So they have some demos, and kind of like some different things, and also some comparisons, with like the Daesung, the Books Mira, and the WaveShare, and price, some of these things. And I'm really excited about this project because I believe that having a screen that is, very high refresh rate, you have the open hardware, you have a lot of these very good things. And it is definitely not as large as I would like it to be. I would love to have a monitor for my desktop, right? But it's getting there, and supporting these projects, especially in their early process will allow for these to be released to the larger public, and we can have that a little bit more like quote unquote revolution, and so I'm excited. There are 24 days left for them to raise their goal of $110,000. So if you're interested in something like this for your monitor at home, and you know how to create some casings for this kind of stuff, there's a big community that has been waiting for this to happen. So I'm really, really excited. Last thing that I will say is go listen to this presentation. It was on the Remarkable YouTube channel. Here it is. It's a presentation by a friend. Her name is Amber Case. She works with a lot of different companies to make sure that they meet they have the importance. They prioritize, more specifically, they prioritize what's called calm technology. So Amber has been working in the calm tech space, and she has a great presentation. So highly recommend that you could take a listen to it, because it really shows why is it that a lot of our technology is not engineered for our peace and peace of mind, but instead it's kind of like distracting us. And there's also lack of what she calls lack of texture, right? So a lot of the things that we have are screens and slabs, and you just touch, and you don't have those kind of like things that you used to have with devices that used to have buttons, right? And you have these different things that are helpful. All right, we get to demos and Q&A. So again, today we have a little bit more time to do a lot of these things. So do not worry. Let's get to demos at 36 minutes. So 36 demo and Q&A 1. All right, demos and Q&A 1. We'll do some updates later for Mudita or that kind of stuff. So yeah, cool. Let's see Q&As. Okay. Okay, when is it going to be available for order? I think you mean the dumb wireless case. Within a week or so, we're gonna have some of that extra information. So do not fret. We'll have a lot of that. Oh, this moved. Give me a second. There you go. That's better, I think. Oh, I think I touched something. There you go. Now it's better. Okay, cool. Let's continue. Sebastian, why? Oh, okay, no. Well, before that, Sonny says, any news from Punked? Is there going to be a future update so the MP2 works in Canada past the 3G shutdown? No. Don't expect Punked to do anything about their don't expect Punk to do anything about their phones, and they are not in the business of listening to the needs of the community. Let's just kind of put it bluntly there. Just don't expect that. Oh, what happened here? Something happened. Oh, there it is. Okay. Yeah, so don't expect Punk to do anything with their MP02. They're not interested in updating some of the things for compatibility. They're just, kind of like, they're not interested in that. So don't count on Punked right now. Their project is to get their private smartphone with a subscription to the operating system, as many cells as possible. So yeah, just FYI. Sebastian, why hasn't my phone come in? It's been a whole month. Oh, Sebastian, you are in the 68,000s. Yeah, you're going to have to be a little bit more patient. So right now they're up to, if I recall correctly, they're up to orders in the late 30s, early 40s. So do not expect your device for another month or two. There is a large shipment supposed to kind of like, get there to this week, and probably they're going to get up to the mid 40s, on orders. But yeah, do not expect your device right away. If you order a month ago, let me tell you, there are people that have been waiting for, again, a year, 12 months, and they are still in the waiting queue because there were so many large orders at the, in the beginning, in the first pre-order space. So I think we have barely moved into the $499 and $599 price ranges, we're still back when it was first kind of released, the pre-order at $399. So there were just massive amounts of pre-orders at the time. So I highly recommend that you do some patience, practice some patience, because it's going to be probably September, October by the time that you get your device. Yeah. Especially with that high of an order number and the 68,000s. Yeah. Abdullah says, got my Livestream 3 last week. Feels premium. Just waiting on the Livestream plan. Cool. Awesome. Good to hear. And then there's some discussion about carriers. So hope you find one that works for you. So yeah, super excited about that. Next question is, I want to know if the Chin F21 Pro works in New York. Well, it depends with which carrier. So the Chin F21 Pro, here, let me go. Oh, and there is a Chin F23 Pro, by the way, coming soon-ish. I've been told by IFA 2025, so in a few weeks, like a week and a half, it will be released to the world, but we'll see. So the F21 Pro, Xiaomi or Chin. Okay, there it is. So this guy right here, the Chin F21 Pro. So there is a version. I don't know why this says this is a version. Carriers. The Chin F21 Pro works with T-Mobile in the United States. There are some guides that you can follow to make sure that the device works with other carriers, but is not guaranteed to work. So highly recommend that you get a device, so like you get the Chin F21 Pro, but then you go to XDA developers and you get the guides. So here is the Chin F21 custom firmware root and Play Store certified. Then you have to follow the Xiaomi Chin F21 Pro with US bands, and they have this information right there. And essentially, what it does is that it works with certain bands. So, you have certain bands to work with this device, and it will have more reliability, but it will not be 100%. So I recommend that you read upon these things. And again, it has the ability to work with T-Mobile, probably in New York, without many issues. There's a lot of bands there, that are compatible. But with Verizon and AT&T, you need to do some custom things, and then you need to know if you're up to the task to do a few of those things. So highly recommend that you take a look into those resources. Let's see what else. We have more questions. Let's see. Has the F22 and S22, are they too ugly in comparison to the 3210? Okay, let me see. Oh, I see. You're saying like you would prefer something that is nicer in style. So yeah, I mean that's definitely something that yeah, we're still waiting. So I really think the Sidephone, maybe that's something that you're gonna be like, oh yeah, maybe that works for me, right? So hopefully that you're able to check it out. Yeah. Okay, no more questions. So Shay, hopefully I answer your question. The F21 works with T-Mobile, and if you want to make it work with Verizon, you have to go into guides and do it yourself. So highly recommend that you take a look into those things. Let's see. So demos. Let's go with Wonderphone. So I reviewed this device. A few. Let's see. Oh, perfect. Yes, that's another thing I need to do. So the Wonderphone is a flip phone. Let's turn it on. And it's actually quite nice. So I personally like the design, the outer casing. It's nice. It's good to hold. Like it feels good in the hand. It has a nice finish. It's not too fingerprint prone to. So it's nice to hold and to have. It's a good phone. The software is extremely fast. That's another thing that is definitely a plus for this device. Their packaging is actually very satisfying. So this is how it comes. It's very nice. And this is for the case. So as you see right there, there's a case for the front and the back. And this is for the phone, and it comes with kind of like a charger. But yeah, their packaging is very, very good. They actually send you like a massive kind of like, hey, like a gift bag. They could definitely, this was maybe a little too much over the top, but hey, they have it, right? But the software is also fast. So it's very good to use, very, reliable and easy to navigate through. But there are missing features, in my opinion, right? So this phone is nice, is good looking. You're able to use it with a lot of the different things. But actually, I know what's going on here. Give me 1 second. Yeah, there you go. Now we're talking. Um, so the issue with this device is that it's very limited by the applications that it has. So again, you have your contacts and you have your camera, and the messaging experience is actually quite nice to use. You're able to double tap right here and do the speak to text, and it's actually quite fast. Let me see if I can improve the there you go. Yeah, that's a little bit better. So it's quite nice when it comes to the voice to text. As you see right there, it's definitely fast, very, very easy to use, and you're able to stop it, and delete all of the things. Their navigation is actually quite easy, to learn, because everything is very clearly labeled, so if you want extra information, you can just click this right here, right? So you have access to that extra information. If you want to delete things, you have the back button, and again, as you see, it's quite fast and optimized and very easy to use. But the Achilles heel of this device is that it's kind of like a one-trick pony. It has Android Auto, and that's their competitive advantage, which I think it's a very high competitive advantage in the world of kind of like smart things that you may want in your device. Very fast, very easy to use. As you see right there, the home button takes you home. You're able to navigate. You're able to use Waze if that's something that's interesting to you, and you're able to connect this to Android Auto so that you have that compatibility. So I personally think that's excellent. That's very good. That's a very good thing. However, it doesn't have access to a few of the extra things that I would like to see, at least from the community. Like you don't have access to a hotspot. You don't have access to, business features. You don't have access to even a podcasting app, right? So yeah, you're connecting to Android Auto, and you have that really nice ability to connect to the Android Auto interface, which is something that especially people that travel a lot or have a lot of time, dead time, and all of these things, then yeah, for sure. The battery life is also excellent, so you have a lot of pros, but then you're not catering to the business crowd. You're not catering to maybe somebody that needs or wants WhatsApp for life, for some of their communication. And that's where I think this device kind of like at the price tag, right? So we're talking about $400. That's when this device kind of like crumbles, and it's essentially like, well, so $400, now we're comparing it to something like the Mudita Compact, right? Which, yeah, doesn't have Android Auto, but you have access to a lot of those business features if you want. You have the access to do the side loading if you want. You have a few extra utilities, right? So we're getting in that price territory. You're also getting in the price territory of the Sunbeam F1, right? So you have a Sunbeam F1, and the Sunbeam F1 has all of these capabilities, like plus the business features if you want them, right? So if you decide which kind of phone you want, if you want some of the extra, just kind of like, hey, I have this hotspot, I have email, I'm able to have compatibility, visual voicemail. So a lot of those things count for the community. And again, it's nice looking, yes, but if you listen to the community, I think this device has a lot of potential because you can do a few extra things, right? Like, so maybe what you need to do is create a different gloss finish or whatever different colorways that says like, hey, like Sunbeam has done. I think Sunbeam is the example of this, if you want a really, really basic phone, you can have a Sunbeam that is a very, very basic phone. But if you want more utilities like maps or email or business features like hotspot, then you have that ability as well to purchase. And it is the same price. Like you don't even have to change your price. You just have to change a little bit of the software that you're using. So I really think that they need to listen to what the community is saying and needing, and then you move forward with like, some of the other things. For $400 also, you're getting into smartphone territory that is dumbed down, right? So with the folks at Sleek, here is the Sleek device. It's a Google Pixel, right? It is a smart device, right? But I mean, when you think about it, they only allow the installation of certain applications. Maybe I'm not connected. Maybe I am. Okay. Let's see. Okay. And they're still updating things. That's another thing, right? So they have an app store, and it works with, a lot of the different apps that you may want or need in your life. So depending on what you're into, give me a second. What's going on here? There you go. There you go. Yeah. So again, you have podcasting apps, or you have recorders, or you have email, or you have files, or you have like a better keyboard. So again, it's like this is also $400, and when you're comparing them, of course, this is a flip phone. This is a smart device, and it's an older smart device, but still getting updates, still getting a lot of these things. Yeah. So, I think it's a good device if you're looking for that simplicity, but I don't think it's the best device if you're looking for simplicity. There are better devices out there that will work in the same manner, just for less money. So, yeah, highly recommend that you check it out. But if it's not for you, I don't blame you. So, yeah. Mudita. So Mudita has been going through a lot of updates. So they've been getting a few updates here and there, and essentially they are still looking at a roadmap. I guess we can go look at that. Let's go to take a look into the Mudita updates. This is minutes 52. So we dealt with some questions, and we are now going into Mudita updates. So let's go Mudita updates. Save this now. Perfect. So the Mudita Compact has some updates incoming. So let's go to forum.mudita.com, and they have a roadmap essentially of what they're looking into, kind of like what's next. So I think it was here, but I think let's go towards the end. There was a new thing on the roadmap. Let's see. I'm trying to find their compact. Okay, but where is the roadmap? I don't know. I don't know where they put it. Maybe it's here. I just missed it. Maybe it's at the top. No, this is just, again, a lot of, this is the same post, right? Upcoming software updates, yada, yada, yada. There was another one that talked about the updates, but I do not know where it is. There was one that said like clearly, like this is what's coming in 2026, and this is what's coming in 2025. This is what's coming in 2026, but I do not see it. Aha, there it is. Thank you. So there it is. A glimpse on the future updates coming in September 2025 is playlist management for the music player, enhanced Bluetooth device management, better fingerprint for the unlock behavior, and manual selection of mobile networks. Then you have in fall 2025, they're working for support for group messaging and folder-based music organization as well. Oh, playlist management was September, and then now in the fall, folder-based music organization. And I expect them to. This is for 2026, but I expect them to try to make as much progress, in the fall. So move some of these up. Some of these don't seem like to be the most, kind of like different things that they may just need to do a few things to change them and put them from 2026 to 2025. But they're looking into lock screen customization, voicemail notification, music player improvements, ebook reader improvements, option to clear recent call history, user selectable e-ink refresh display modes, and ability to add custom ringtones and notification sounds. So this is what they have upcoming. And they also had the past updates, right? So what they did, they had a lot of fixes in this past one. So, they're the 1.2. So maybe now 1.3 is upcoming for September, or, whatever, 1.4, whatever they're going to call it. So yeah, there is another, hopefully, that they have some of these things sooner than later, So there is a caveat, right, with all of this, is that you technically can make the Mudita Compact as smart as you want, and if you want to fix a lot of these issues, right, then you can technically, with your own know-how and side-loading applications. You can fix a lot of these things. So, for example, there's somebody that found the best Bluetooth device management app for the Mudita Compact, and that's on the forums. So, highly recommend that you check out forum.mudita forums. Yeah, forum. There it is. So, go to the forum, sign up, and just search like, okay, what's the best app for this? What's the best app for that? And I'm gonna put this in the comments right here, and there you go. Highly recommend you go check that out, because it will be, it'll be something that you can see some of the issues, right, that they have still, and some of the issues that they need to fix and that they have fixed, and the things that are coming, like, some of the discussion, right? So yeah, so here it is. So, for example, somebody was not able to open text message hyperlinks, and they have a back and forth. Some people are still not able to get MMS photo messages, and again, like, you have that available, so be able to check out, like, if you're having an issue, if you get the device, etc., etc. And then I guess I'm going to transition to this issue with group text RCS on the Mudita Compact. So a lot of people have been having this issue, and this is a massive issue happening in the Dumbphone community. I'm actually going to go to the Reddit /Dumbphones, I think. Oh, I think I have to go r/Dumbphones, right? Yep, there it is. So there is a pinned post, I believe. Did I pin it? No, I pin it in the Lightphone community, actually, because this has been more of a Lightphone issue in the latest. So how to disable RCS and iMessage. And I'm going to grab this link and put it all the way in your feed for the comments. So what's been happening, essentially, we are at 58 minutes. Perfect. So what's been happening in the world of Dumbphones, specifically for Lightphone, Mudita, and like all of that stuff, is that many of you come from a smart device, right? So you're coming from a smart device, let it be the iPhone or Android or whatever it is that you're using. And I highly recommend that you start now to do these changes. So the first thing is, if you're coming from an Android device, go to this link, the messages.google.com, and with your previous device, so if you have a smartphone, go to turn off the RCS chats. So here it is. You turn it off. That's the first thing that you need to do. And then you also need to not only turn it off, but you need to come to this right here and without your previous device and enter your phone number and you enter whatever the phone number it is that you need to do here. Enter the 6-digit verification code that they give you, and you go from there. Because what happens, or what has been happening, is people turn it off here on the device, and then they are like, "Oh, we're good, no problem, that's not an issue." But no, you actually need to turn it off here on the device, and also here deregister it on the Google verification. And what happens is that your number gets essentially taken off from the server list of Google for RCS. Even if you have an iPhone, I highly recommend that you also do this on the Google. So on the Google website. So the RCS on the iPhone, you have to go to settings, apps, messages, RCS messaging, and turn it off. But once you're done with that, you also come here and you do it. And you probably will be thinking, but Jose, I am, like whatever, like I use an iPhone. I never had a Google product in my life, and I shouldn't have to go to the Google website. This should only be an Apple thing. Well, you would be surprised, because what happens is essentially iPhones and Google, they share some configuration for the RCS messages. So what's happening is Apple built their own profile for RCS, right? And then Google builds their own profile for RCS, but your number is in connection with both servers, right? So you're on the server side for Apple, and you're also on the server side for Google, not for sending, but for receiving. So whenever you switch and you turn it off on the iPhone side, the Google one says, well, this number used to be RCS compatible, so I'm going to send an RCS message because it used to be RCS compatible and I used to send it so many times, right? Like in the past. So in the server side, and I'm simplifying this, by the way, I'm just kind of making it very easy, hopefully very easy to understand. So on the Google side of things, on their servers, they're saying, hey, I used to receive information via RCS from this number. That means this is an RCS enabled device. Therefore, because it's an RCS enabled device, I should be able to, be able to send back and forth this information. So if you have an iPhone, if you have an Android, turn it off on your device, then come here, verify that the phone number has been taken off the database from both Apple and Google if you have an Apple device, and all of Google if you only have Google devices. Now, on top of that, if you're coming from an iPhone, you probably are going to need the same thing. So if you still have your iPhone, you do register iMessage, you go, you turn it off. First, good thing, perfect. But you also have to tap FaceTime and turn it off as well. If you don't do this, it stays registered. And after you do that, if you still have iMessage, then you come and you do the same thing. You no longer have an iPhone. You're on the server side for the Apple registration, and you come here and you turn it on. And then you're gonna see messages like this, right? So let me see. Yes. Another thing. Let me go in the next layer, right, of issues. This is important. So if your group chat, right, has a name, what does that mean? Like, let me show you what that means. So group chat, I don't need to sign in. Google, no, thank you. So if your group chat names iMessage, there it is. So if your group chat has a name like this, so it's not just a bunch of numbers or a bunch of names like mom, dad, whatever, but instead you have renamed this group chat either on Android or on RCS, right? Messages, so Google Messages, whatever platform you're using, right? Then all of these people are still going to send iMessages instead of text messages. And all of these people are going to send RCS messages to your number. So the next step after you have deregistered, after you have all of these things, is to make sure that none of the people that are on the group text message have named this chat, that this chat is not named on their, on their uh, device. So do not name them. Do not rename them. Do not add anything to that. I highly recommend that your friends and family just leave it as mom, dad, or friends, or whatever it is, Michael, John, and Susan, and just a long list of things that you have in your group chat. Because once you name it, then the devices say, oh, hey, we're only going to interact with devices that have their group chats named. You see how, oh my gosh, okay, this is very frustrating, because to me, right, like, this is stupid. Like, I mean, you're talking about naming group chats as another reason why people are not getting their messages. So again, you have to go clear the name of this device. You have to be able to disable RCS messages. You have to be able to go to Apple if you have an Apple device. So do not name them, your text messages, and disable everything, and then give it, like a little bit of time, like an adaptation time, so that your devices are able to catch up with each other and say, okay, this device no longer has any smart technologies. Now we're going to only message. Now, this is one solution. My personal solution, the thing that I have done personally, is just say, you know what, guys, like if we really want to communicate, let's go to a different app. Let's just go to a different app. Like, all of my group conversations are off of my device. That way I don't have these issues personally. I'm like, hey, you know what? What I focus on is one-to-one conversation. And if there's a group text message or something like that, I use WhatsApp or Signal, depending on how interested the friend group. I have friend groups that are very interested in privacy, so those are in Signal. I have friend groups that are more interested in convenience. Well, those ones are in WhatsApp. And I think that's up to you to decide which platform you're going to use. But I highly recommend that you essentially move away from group text communication on your Dumbphone. As much as possible, of course. I mean, sometimes you need to send a text, or somebody needs to send a text to you and send, all of these different things. But these are the steps. Go disable the RCS. Go to the website for Google. If you have an iPhone, go disable iMessage and RCS. Go to the website for Google and the website for Apple to make sure that those are deregistered from the server side. If you have named group chats, then disable those as well. Disable the name group chats and just leave them as is. Tell them, like, do not rename them. Do not put a name on this chat. Just leave it as is. Delete the old one. We're going to restart. We're going to start a brand new, kind of thread. And next steps, my opinion, is move all of your group conversations to an instant messenger app that is private, that is secure, or if you want one that is convenient, then the one that is convenient. So, again, it's crazy how many people I have been troubleshooting with because of these issues, right? So yes, highly recommend that you look into that. And if you have anyone that has this issue, send them this little blurb on the RCS chapter. So I type the RCS how to fix, or RCS fixes, and they will be able to see this whole conversation that we just had about this specific issue. It's definitely an issue that's plaguing the community right now, and these have been the ways that are the easiest way to fix your group text messages on different devices. Yeah. So just, and of course, eventually some devices will have the ability to do RCS once we get moved to a more open standard. Even though RCS is already an open standard, the profiles are right now monopolized. So that's another part of the issue. Okay, we're going to move to Q&A, and I make sure that this is covered by the chapter. So if you want somebody to do RCS fixes, that's the best way to do it. Send them this video, tell them, hey, you need to go look into all of these crazy things that Apple and Google are doing, but it's just the reality. Okay, Q&A. Let's see. Is there a reason you never reviewed the Punked MC02? Honestly, it's just because, well, I have a aversion to subscriptions. I don't like subscriptions. I really don't. In my life, I've had very few, just kind of like the things that I must have, like a phone service, Wi-Fi. That's it. That's actually, I think that those are the only things I subscribe like on a month. I mean, of course, like, the bills, right? Like rent and water and electricity, that kind of stuff. But I just don't subscribe to things. I think that this is something that the modern world, unfortunately, is thrusting into, our lives. There is an article. Yeah, there it is. Let's see. There's a news. What was it? Was it this one? There is this one too. Yeah, like how subscriptions and there's research explored the impact of subscription-based business. I think I read that one. And then this one is like subscriptions reject. Subscriptions are creeping from software into everything, even your car's horsepower. Full EV performance now comes with a monthly fee. So this is very recent. I have not heard about this. But apparently, I guess Volkswagen has become the latest automatic to adopt the pricing structure. Now, if you pay extra, you get an extra, I guess, electric horsepower for 16 pounds per month or 165 annually. And I just think that this is the wrong way to do business, in my personal opinion. There is one more subscription I have. Technically, it's called Text It, Search It, but I think it's very affordable and it makes my life a lot easier. So essentially what they do is you can text this number and you do you can text a number and ask for the weather, or you can say like, okay, so let's see, coffee shops near, am I showing you guys the right thing? Yes. Okay. Coffee shops near downtown Denver. And you text it from your phone. And then it uses kind of like looks at the Google information and then like it succinctly gives you the information that you need. Some top coffee shops near downtown Denver include Cramac Coffee House on Lammer Street, the Bardo Coffee House, Huckleberry Roasters. Don't go to Huckleberry Roasters. Come on, man. Those are lame. But whatever. Different people like different things, right? But if you want to go more, give me the address to the Little Finch Coffee on Denver downtown, and I think it should do it. So if you type this on your phone, it will give you. And actually, this is the correct address, and it's on 16th Street, not Mall anymore. We have changed the name to that. So 1490 16th Street, Denver, Colorado. It is located just a few blocks from the Union Station. The cafe offers great. It opens daily from 7 a.m. to 9 p.m. And it gives you the phone number. So sometimes when I'm on the go and I'm only taking my light phone, I need some random information, and like I'm like, hey, you know what? I think this is important, and it costs $3 a month, and I'm like happy with what it does, or $32 a year. So I'm very happy with what it does because I'm able to get some of that information, and sometimes it's kind of nice. And they're also implementing some new features in the future. There are other ones as well, Light Friend and I think Dumb Smartphone, something like that. But those kind of like try to do too much, and their pricing is like not simple, So I'm like, I'm not looking to pay. I think Light Friend is like $10 a month or something like that. Why am I pay $6 for my plan, like for my cell phone plan with US Mobile. Why would I subscribe to something that is more than my plan for, all of these crazy things? I'm like, no, I'm good. I just need somebody that, hey, I'm on the go. I need some information. I just text it, get it back, and it kind of like works. But subscriptions, I just don't like subscriptions. And when the MC02, requires essentially a subscription to their app apostrophe OS fee and that kind of stuff. I'm just like, man, this is very expensive, and you're just a smartphone. Number one, this image is wild, but whatever. I always find that one very, very funny. Um, it's just a very funny, yeah, like very funny image right here. Like you're doing yoga and you're looking at your phone. I'm like, come on, man, like that's crazy. Um, but yeah, whenever anything has a subscription, I'm like, the first question that I ask is like, is it worth it? Right? Like, is it actually adding value to my life and creating something that is going to make things very easy, convenient, better, improving my life? And most of the time is not. And because most of the time is not, I'm like, no, I'm not going to do this. I would actually, what I will do is I will email the company and I will ask them, hey, wow, look at this. Bad, bad, bad. Come on, Punked. Your text is white on white. Maybe another reason why I didn't buy it is because they're not very transparent with their pricing. Like $4.99, but you cannot even see it. You have to select it. They should fix this, in my opinion. But yeah, like whenever something has a subscription, I'm like, I'm good, man. Like I go look into it. And I'm like, is it actually going to make my life easier, better, and like, is it worth it? Then I say, okay, let's go for it. If it's not, then yeah, I'm good. Like, I don't get it. So again, that's probably why I didn't review it, because the phone came with that. I'm okay with when somebody says like, hey, I'm going to give you the phone and I'm going to give you these features. And if you want more, and it's valuable to your life, then you can pay me a little bit more to unlock these other things, right? Not necessarily a fan of that model, but I understand that one. Like, it's like, hey, we're providing this basic experience. If you want an upgraded experience, because of cost or because it requires a lot of things, then I recommend that you look into that, right? So yeah, so that's kind of my rationale. Okay, next question is, any chance of a Mudita Pure 2? Don't expect it. No, they're focusing on their Mudita Compact right now, and it's a dream. It's a pipe dream. I'm not gonna say it's not in the cards, but don't expect it anytime soon. They're really just working on making sure that things get very tight and software wise with the Mudita Compact, and that's what they're looking into. Yeah. Okay, let's see. Next one is any updates from Joe on next big LP3 update? Yeah, so I made an update about shipments at the beginning, but there is an upcoming update for, here it is. So there is an upcoming update for the music player. So the music player is actually the next one to get a big update. There's fingerprint and eSIM. So they just released a update that, here it is, phone updates. No. Version. So they just released an update a few days ago that allows them to be able to get better information for people that are experiencing issues. There are some issues people are experiencing with the software. So they have brought up this LightOS version 522 to the device. So it allows them to fix a lot of new features. Whenever they implement them and a bug gets reported, then they're able to fix it faster. And yeah, so I'm really excited about this update, but they are working on, I believe September, September, October, you should be expecting a pretty sizable update for fingerprint, eSIM, music player. Those are the three big things, and there may be other ones that they're working on, that they have been kind of like already ready, but yeah, it's kind of yeah. Yeah. Yeah, somebody called me out, says like, you have TC, Jose, that's a subscription. Yeah, and I did, and I showed that one. But besides that, I really don't think I have anything else. Sunny says, but Sunbeam has subscription. Yeah, they do, and I mean, I don't use Sunbeam because I mean, I have the device, and whenever I have to do a updated review, I buy it for a month, um, and then um, I do the what's it called, like I do it for a month and then I cancel it just so that I can do the review with the video, and that kind of stuff. But yeah, I really don't like, yeah, I really don't like subscriptions. I really try to keep them as simple as possible, everything as simple as possible. Um, I'm trying to think. Oh, there is a subscription for work that I have, but that's just because it provides tons of value. So if you work in the media space and you edit a lot of videos, I do videos for the YouTube channel, but like I also edit some media for work. And Descript is savior. I mean, Descript is like literally one of the best softwares for podcasting, media, editing. I mean, it's great. So I highly recommend it if you haven't checked it out. Just editing with a transcript is so much different than editing with looking at the video and making sure that you have the right timestamps and stuff like that. Like at the transcript, I'm like, okay, I'm able to like cut here, and everything is super clean and easy. Oh, I'm very, very happy with that. So yeah. Yeah. So I think those are all of the things I subscribe to. And if I'm forgetting something, I mean, again, I have a criteria. I look at the subscription and I'm like, okay, is this worth it? Is it going to make me definitely save tons of time? Is it going to make me more productive? Is it going to make me, happier with my usage and, that kind of stuff? I think those are some of the things that, yeah, I read some. I think those are some of the things that I look into. Is it going to be making a major, major, substantial difference in my life? And if it is, then I consider it, try it out, and if it's great, then I keep it. So yeah, 100%. That's some of the things. Okay. Let's see. What else? Some discussion on the punk stuff and kind of like TC. So yeah, go try it out. Go try. I don't know if did I put the link. Let me put it here. Text it, search it right there. Yeah, go check it out. And there are other services, and go check them out as well. I mean, decide which one's good for you. But I think this is definitely a value add for dumb phones. But I don't. I try to stay away from subscriptions as much as possible. I think somebody asked about Mudita at the end. Yes, so let me see. One more comment for Christian. Says, struggling to keep using my LP3. I like it a lot. There's just so much going on in the world. Alpha feels like I have to be tuned in sometimes, but the first 2 months were great when I was using it. Yeah, I get it. I get it. Living a simple lifestyle can be hard, and sometimes you miss out on things. And I get that, but this is where maybe I'll turn this next part of the live stream today into like a lifestyle chat. I think this is where we kind of have to have operating frameworks, right? So I'll give you an example, right? So I'll give you an example of yeah, that's fine, but can I just do one without having to sign up? Let me see. Time block planner online. Bunch of sponsors place. I need to. Yeah, I'm testing a few things and like I can't do that. This maybe. Okay, no, bunch of products. I'm just trying to get a blank canvas. Okay, let's see. Blank canvas online. Does this work? Okay, sure. This works. Yeah, I can do. There you go. Okay. So this is where I'm gonna turn into like a little bit of like some advice, I guess, that I can give you when it comes to how you outline your life really matters. Let's try to make this white. I think it'll be easier. So let's go over. Sure, that's fine. Okay. So the way that I structure life, the way I think about it is this. So mornings, right? You have mornings, you have afternoon, and then you have evenings. And depending on how you structure your calendar, that's up to you. Like I mean, that's up to you how you want to do things, right? But essentially, what I think about is this: tech time, and when it comes to the tech time, let's move this here. Live demo right here. So when it comes to the tech time, what I think or what I focus on first is what is the time that I'm going to start and stop using some of these things. Because I think it's important to have rituals or habits that allow you to create the kind of life that you want. So for me, for example, I start my day and I say before 9 a.m., there is no tech time. So I try my best, not perfect, not a perfect human being. Sometimes I will fail, but I say, okay, start at 9 a.m. So that's my tech time, right? So I'm going to start working on things and I'm going to start replying, and like chatting with you all and finding information about the space and saying like, hey, I'm going to do this starting at 9 a.m. But then in the afternoon, stop between 12 and 2 p.m. So that is kind of like, okay, I'm going to go from 9, but I'm going to go up until 12. And at 12, what happens is I personally have a dog. I guess I recommend that you get a dog as well because they need walks, every so often, right? So that's why usually I try to do my live streams, somewhere around 9 or 10, and then I finish. But essentially what I'm saying is like, okay, I'm going to get like a 2-hour break in the middle of my day. Sometimes it's at 12, sometimes it's at 1. Life changes and you may have meetings or things, but you try to stay as consistent as possible. And then here, the most important one, in my opinion, is shut it down at a specific time. Usually I shut it down at 8 p.m. So this is one operating area in which you're thinking like, okay, I'm going to start at this time. I'm going to stop between this time to give my brain a break, to focus on things. And then I'm going to shut it down at this time. Like I'm not going to have anything, required for like some of these things, right? So I think this is very important. But then you also need brain time. That's the other part that a lot of people don't look into, right? So they're like, okay, yeah, I have my tech time, but you also need brain time. And that means for me, read one chapter in the morning of whatever it is that I'm interested in right now. And then I read one chapter in the afternoon. In the evening. Usually by the time I shut down, I'm like, okay, read one chapter for this. And again, you don't have to beat yourself over like, I'm not doing it. Like a lot of people are like, I'm going to do a tracking thing and I'm going to like, what's it called? Check mark every day. And if I fail, then I lose my streak. I'm like, no. Work towards the lifestyle change. Do not worry about like the details of it all. Worry about or focus on, hey, is my lifestyle changing, right? And then in the afternoon is one podcast. So what I focus on here is, hey, in my brain, I'm going to engage with what I call personally, and there's other people that call it too. Cal Newport is one of them. I really enjoy his podcast. I enjoy a lot of the things. Um, but what I do is I essentially say, like, okay, I'm going to put my brain to work, right? I'm going to put my life, and I'm going to say I need to learn about these things, but I'm not going to engage with this is one of the biggest issues, and this is something that I'm personally working through right now. Is I'm only going to engage with materials that take time to produce. I'm not going to engage with materials that just happen to come, right? So if somebody makes a, I don't know, like a 30-second reel about their lunch, that's not something that they really thought about, right? But if somebody makes a 30-second reel about information that they have really digested and they're just trying to put it in that format, even though I personally don't think it's the best format, but like, hey, they were intentional about it, right? So what I try to focus on is try to focus on intention. I think you cannot see. Give me 1 second. There you go. Sorry. I think you could not see the shut it down area. So I put myself down there. So that's it. Tech time, brain time, right? So those are the first things. And then you have physical time. And that essentially just means like, hey, I care about my body. And for me, that is walking in the morning. So I walk in the morning. I also walk in the afternoon because of the dog. Walking dog. And then my new setup is workout in the evenings. So I try to work out, sometime after dinner, like, or just before dinner, just a small workout, and like, okay, I'm going to take care of my body. I'm going to be doing these things. So these are pillars in my life, and they, kind of like you need to be thinking about these pillars in your time and in your life, about the time that you're spending your life and how you're spending it, right? So I think this is important because let me see, like you're saying, like sometimes it feels like the world, like it almost feels like there's so much going on and I have to be tuned in at all times. And that's when, like, okay, that's fine. Maybe you can find something that synthesizes that information from somebody that you trust, from a news outlet that you trust, or maybe it is a person that their job is to think about this, right? So I'm going to get the information that I need. I'm going to be focusing on the things that I need to be focused on. And then I'm going to be also allowing my brain to recover, right? So I'm not going to be putting information all the time. I'm not going to accept the lie, which I think it is, the lie that is like, hey, you need to be tuned in 24/7, right? Or you need to be available 24/7, right? And then you expand from here. So let me, oh no, I just want to select how I select. Oh, perfect. No, not what I want. There you go. So this is like an everyday, like this is the everyday. So you have to have a cycle also for quarterly. And I say quarterly because I think it's a better cycle than let me see. There you go. So this is your everyday cycle. No, we're going to leave it there. And then you have a quarterly cycle. And your quarterly cycle is a little bit more structured because you not only have 3 categories in the quarter, right? So here is where you start thinking long term, right? You start thinking, okay, what is my goal for the quarter? What is something that I'm trying to improve as a person that I can put in my everyday? So what happens is eventually this feeds that. What most of us do unfortunately, is we focus on the everyday only without having a quarterly goal. But the quarterly goal is going to invite you to think about the everyday habits. So when it comes to the goals, so for example, I'll give my personal example. One of my quarterly goals was to drop 15 pounds. I had and still have, actually, being very honest with y'all, I have had a few um, health, things that I am, like dealing with personally. And, my doctor said, hey, you're getting into the zone for pre-diabetes and pre-hypertension. And I was like, oh my gosh, that's crazy. Like I shouldn't be doing these things. So what I started doing is like, okay, well, now I have a quarterly goal, and my goal was, so I started this journey back in like the middle of June. And I said, okay, by September, I'm going to be dropping 15 pounds. So this informed my decision making for 3 areas. And the 3 areas was, okay, I need to focus on my physical, right? So I need to do exercise. That's number one area, right? Then I have to work on diet. So what I eat, eating habits. That was number two. And then after I started thinking about along things, it's just like, okay, it's not only what I'm eating, but the frequency. So these are related right here. So the frequency in which I'm eating, I, for a long time, have been quite, let's put it, inconsistent with my eating habits. So now I have more. So this started filling in here. So why did I stop between 12 and 2 is because, okay, I'm going to walk the dog right here. And I'm also, which fulfills some sort of exercise, not the most intense exercise, but like that kind of stuff, right? And also I can eat, right? So I make sure that when I step out of the computer, I'm going to take some time to eat, and I'm going to take some time to walk the dog, do some physical, thing. So that's what is this goal, for example, this first goal informs my daily habits, and now I start revamping my daily habits, right? So another thing that I've been dropping is I used to be a very decently heavy coffee drinker, so um, I drink 2 cups a day. Well, now I'm down to 2 cups a week, right? So I still enjoy it. I enjoy coffee. I think it's delicious, and it's my personal taste buds, right? Like some people don't like it, but I started to replace it, and I said like, hey, you know what? I'm gonna find something that is better for this goal that I have right here. But I'm going to start working out. I'm going to start drinking less caffeine. I'm going to start drinking more teas to relax my body, to make sure that it is fine tuned for all of these things. The final thing that I worked on, like, specifically here, was sugar. So I worked on coffee, sugar, and then salads. Not a big salad eater in my life. And now I eat one twice a day, So again, you have to start thinking in these terms of like, okay, I'm going to start thinking in my goals, the quarterly goals, and then those quarterly goals should inform my everyday. And there are many, 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 many books that talk about this. One that I'm going to recommend is Atomic Habits. This is for more like the daily, everyday thing. So let me put a link for you guys. James Clear, I think, puts it very easily. He breaks down the science of how to do, this easily, and it's not a revelatory book. You're not going to be learning, tons of things on this book, but it's more of like, okay, let me put these things into ideas and let it inform my thinking, right? So that is one thing. And then, in my opinion, another one that you should be reading for this is Deep Work. So I'll show you that one. And that's from Cal Newport. Again, I think his stuff is pretty good. He writes a lot about these things. But Deep Work, Rules for Success in a Distracted World. Highly recommend that you look into it. It's an excellent book as well. And I will put the link in the comments as well. Sorry that I went into this deep dive of kind of like thinking. I think you talked, you put something in my mind. I'm like, yeah, this kind of needs to be addressed. But it's finding systems and mental mindset that puts you in the right place so that you can use the devices that benefit your life the most. Sometimes we are just looking for the quick fix, and that may not be something that will help you in the long term. And I think that that's something that you kind of have to think about on your own. Yeah. So hopefully that helps, Christian. Not a guru when it comes to personal planning and, all that kind of stuff. Just, somebody else is trying to figure it out. And this is what has worked for me. So I'm just kind of giving you some okay, the three areas that I'm focusing on right now are, okay, I need some tech time because I work, I do things. Today's a day off. So I'm working on the channel, and like doing the live stream. Brain time, recharging, reading, doing the things I need to do. And then physical time, right? Putting my body in motion, making sure that I do the things I need to do. Take a break, and you start incorporating them, right? So one habit starts feeding the other, and then you do all of those things. And and maybe your goal is, for example, like another goal could be like change jobs, or maybe it is read 3 books, like during this quarter, right? So 1 book a month, and then you start like incorporating all of these things, right? They start informing, okay, how is that going to change with my workout routine? How is that going to change with the podcast that I listen to? Maybe I don't listen to a podcast anymore. Maybe what I do is instead I listen to / audiobook, right? So I'm going to listen to an audiobook instead of listening to a podcast, right? So all of these things start informing your everyday habits, and then you start changing them, and your lifestyle starts changing because that's what you want in your life. So my 2 cents, hopefully that helps. Yeah. And, again, not a guru in these things. It's just something that I've been learning, something that I've been thinking about, and I've been focusing on, in the last few months. So, yeah. Okay. Let's continue. Oh, I guess another thing, maybe I'll put this here. Eraser. Let's erase this. Oh no, that's a massive. I don't understand. How do I? No. Okay, whatever. I will erase this and put it back again on white. Okay. I don't know how to do it. That's very interesting. Pixel fill. Oh, okay. There it is. White. White. There we go. Okay. Okay. We're refilling it. That's fine. So the next part is, I guess I'll finish with this, is devices. Ooh, sure. I don't know what's going on. So the last thing I want to say is your devices, right? So pen, maybe. I don't understand why this went in a completely different direction. But yeah, so your devices is essentially like, okay, what supports the goals? and then you're thinking in that sense, is like, okay, this supports that, right? So like the devices that you choose to have need to support the goals that you have, which also need to support the everyday habits that you have. And when that happens, you start finding like, oh, okay, this is better for me. This device is, like more helpful in this way or that way. And that starts creating the kind of life that you want. So the devices are supportive. They're not the main thing. And that's one of the big mistakes that people make, is that they look for the device first without analyzing the goals. So if your goal is to use technology less, then of course, like, you find devices that support that endeavor, and then you integrate them into your everyday habits. And that's how I think you should think about, some of that stuff. That's it. Final 15 minutes. We'll go over some more questions. So if you have questions, make sure to put them there. Let's see. Josh, sorry if you already covered this, but our core functionalities in the Mudita Compact better now. Read some things about messaging, call logs, and the alarming having bugs. Yeah, so they made a big update this past, I think August. This was in August, like a few weeks ago, 2-3 weeks ago. And they have made a lot of fixes. However, there are still some issues. And group text message still doesn't work on the default application. So that's still coming for this fall. And, well, the thing that you could do to fix it is you get a separate application, right? Like you get a separate application, sideload a different messaging app, and you'll be able to use the Mudita Compact for that. But right now, it hasn't fixed everything. So if you're going to use the Mudita Compact, you're going to have to sideload a lot of different applications to be able to make it work like you want it to work. So, yeah, highly recommend. Yeah, so if you're interested in the Mudita Compact, then I would say wait a little bit, probably until later this fall, so that you can, see all of these minor issues start to get fixed a little bit more. Yeah. Artie, thank you. I'm glad that the channel has been helpful to you. Hopefully continues to try to be as as helpful as possible. Let's see, more questions. Give me a second, guys. There is a burning smell. I'll be right back. We're good. We're good. Nothing crazy. I just thought, I was like, man, what is going on? Like, what? But it's nothing. Okay, cool. Let's see. So Sofa Dog, a while ago, before I got into the gentleman list, I pre-ordered a smartwatch called the Pebble 2 Duo, and I'm trying to decide if I should cancel it or keep it. Well, let's go back to this chart, beautiful chart that I made. I think the question that you need to be answering is, does it support your goals, right? So like, is this, man, why is this so weird? So it's like, is it supporting your goals? What is that? I don't know. I really don't know what's going on. But yeah, does it support your goals? I think that's the main question that you need to be answering. It's like, is this device going to support your goal? And if your goal is to have some information about, what is going on? Huh. That's weird. That's very weird. Yeah, I don't know. But yes, so if it supports your goal, then yeah, I 100% say go get it, go use it. But if it doesn't support your goals, then yeah, get rid of it. I mean, it's not worth it. So a lot of these devices are a one-trick pony, especially some devices that are not in the mainstream. So like Pebble Duo, I know about it because I know they brought it back essentially, right? So yeah, it's a smartwatch with e-paper screen, and again, it has like kind of like some of the things that I guess they have made to these new watches announcements. So they have a new blog post about it. Yeah, so I mean, if you think it's going to be a device that you like and that is going to add a lot of value and is going to support a lot of your goals, then keep it. And if it's not, um, yeah, yeah, so that's kind of like, yeah, that's kind of what it is. So yeah. Anyways, I'm trying to figure out why this is not working. Somebody said do the fill, but yeah. uh, so yeah, so if it's going to support your goals, then go for it. If it's not going to support your goals, then I would say it's not worth it. So yeah, there you go. Joshua says it's on sale right now, the Mudita Compact. I'm not sure if it's worth it yet. I mean, oh, this is a good supporting conversation. Price shouldn't be the sole determining factor. This is another mistake that a lot of people make in the community, in my opinion, and it's like they focus on the price a lot. And I think what you need to be focusing is on the overall long-term value of this thing. So, for example, um, uh, let's do a new page, I guess. Hey, a grid. I would like a grid. Yay. Um, oh, there you go. I kept it. Good. So when it comes to the price, so price, I like to focus on a few things here. And I like this. It's kind of fun. Oh, okay. 50%? 10%? No, it still does that thing, that weird thing. Nope. I don't know why. It's very weird. It was working before, but now it's not. Okay. Okay. I will just do it with text. So when it comes to price, I like to focus on, first of all, initial price, and then long-term value. The reason why is because, so the question is this. I'll give you an example, and I think we have made this table before, which is essentially, let's take a Lightphone 3, very expensive device, $799. Okay, that's the initial price. Then you have let's just put a minimal, no, let's just do a smartphone. Let's just do a smartphone. Pixel 3, a Pixel 7, $400. Okay, so there you go. So that's the initial price. We're going to focus on the ongoing price. So ongoing price of a plan for the Lightphone, for me, this is what I pay. I pay $6 per month. So that means it's 72 per year. because it's enough for the functions that it has. With a Pixel, you could pay $6 per month, but then you're going to have all of the smart apps are not useful if that's what you're looking for. But just for kicks and giggles, let's say this is $15 per month, which is a Mint Mobile plan, right? Now, there is another ongoing price, which is like my sanity, sanity price. So is this worth it? That's more of like, this is very subjective. So you're kind of asking like, okay, to a large degree is like, is this worth it for me, for what I'm trying to do in life? You know, is it? You had to answer that. So it's like, it's subjective, right? So you add your sanity to that. So you have the price, the initial price, you have the ongoing price, you have your sanity price, like, you know, so it's just like, it's subjective. You get to decide that, and then you arrive at long-term value, right? And then you do this for 5 years. What is the 5-year cost? So if your sanity is going to be, you know, if you think that having a smartphone is not good for you personally, then there is no amount of money that this is going to cost. It could be that they could gift you a Pixel 7, and then it's like you have to think in those terms. It doesn't matter if you get it for free. It doesn't matter even if you get it for free. If your sanity price is like, having a smartphone is bad for me, then there is no cost that it's going to make this purchase even like a discussion, right? So it's just like the Lightphone 3 will be better for you. And it doesn't have to be a Lightphone 3, you know. But then you start looking into like, okay, what's the ongoing price? You know, what's the sanity price? What is my long-term value? You ask this question. What is the 5-year cost? Not only the cost monetarily, but the cost to my life. And is that company, is this device is still going to be serviceable then? So you think about those things and you come up with an answer, you know. And we can replace this, right? So we can say the Sunbeam F1, right? So for example, this one is $279 or $349, depending on the version you get. So definitely cheaper, you know. With a Sunbeam, you probably can get a cheaper plan like the Lightphone, so $6 per month. With US Mobile, you pay $72 per year as well. And then you start comparing like, okay, sanity. Well, what does the Sunbeam have that the Lightphone doesn't? What does the Lightphone have that the Sunbeam doesn't? You know, and then you start kind of like saying like, okay, what is the 5-year cost of not having these things? So for me, for example, I really appreciate that the Lightphone 3 has podcasts, because I listen to podcasts. So for me, it's more important to have that feature, even though it's maybe more costly. Actually, this is $6.99 right now, I think. Just trying to put accurate prices. So it's like, yeah, I'm paying more and the ongoing price is the same. So that is whatever. But in my sanity is like, if I didn't have podcasts, personally, that's how I learn, right? So I listen to a lot of podcasts. I stay up to date, and that for me is worth it. So I'm just gonna say like, yeah, even though I'm going to spend more money over the 5 years, I'm going to definitely not be complaining all the time and saying like, is this worth it? So when you're thinking about the Mudita Compact, think about it that way. There is a sale right now. You could buy it for cheaper, but is that going to cost you mentally? Is that going to cost your sanity, you know, for all of the things that you're doing? So yeah, that's it. So that's how I think about it. So when it comes to the price, and I hope that this little sketch has helped you. We might do some of these things in the future. Again, you know, they might be helpful to illustrate a few things. But yeah, hope that this is you know, something that gives you that idea. So, you know, don't think about the price too much. Think about the long-term value, right? So like in 5 years, will this device still serve my goals? Will this device be helpful in my journey? Yeah. Yeah. And again, I agree with you as well. So Joshua says, I agree with this argument, but on the other hand, if the alarm app doesn't work, I personally think that's an indication that the overall reliability of the device isn't there yet. And I agree with you. if the alarm doesn't work and you rely on alarms every day, it's going to give you a very frustrating feeling. And then you're going to be like, oh my gosh, like I don't want this. It's exhausting to not have a properly working alarm. And I want to throw this device to the, to the wall, right? So yeah, if that's not worth it, just wait until that gets fixed. And it's okay if you pay more because you know that you're not going to be frustrated all the time. Now, if you want to fix it with side-loaded apps, you could. And I think that that's probably what you probably will end up doing so that you don't lose your sanity by having non-working alarms. So, yeah. Let's continue. Let's see. Will you ever write another book? Yes, actually, yes. I'm still trying to find a platform to write this, which is I'm trying to write it and not. It's going to be different. Maybe that's what I'm trying to say. It's not going to be a book like a book that how can I say, like it's just like a paper copy, you know? I'm trying to write something that has more of a framework and that also guides you to resources. So it will have a paper copy, but I'm also looking to create a web version that is not like an ebook only. It's more like, hey, whenever you have a question about this, you are able to get the information. And there will be free parts, right? Like, on the web. And then if you want to get the more cohesive story, it will be the book format, and you can get it, in like all of these different areas. So yeah, but yeah, I'm looking to write another book because I think when I wrote Low Tech Life, it was mainly most like putting all of the things that I have amassed for 6 years of using dumb phones, and I'm like, okay, let's put it in a book, and like, but now I'm thinking of, or I have come to understand that a lot of people don't switch to a dumb phone because they're trying to find the perfect device. They're trying to engineer certain things that are just not there, or not there yet. And I think it's important to put those things into perspective first. So it's going to be more of like a mental models book, like, what's the mentality that you need to approach this with. And when you come into a roadblock, which you will, then you need to find these resources that will help you in the journey. So, yeah, that's the goal with the device, with the book that I'm going to be publishing, hopefully in the future. So, yeah. Well, everyone, thank you for being here for a few hours of your day. I hope I was able to get some of the answers out there. And if you need anything extra, anything else, if you want to have conversations, or you need a demo of a specific feature, sometimes these live streams are helpful, but I'm always there trying to reply to as many comments as possible so that I can be as helpful as possible on some of the things. I guess one last thing is I did a revamp of the Dumbphone Finder for both the, I can show you. So the web version and the mobile version, they both got a revamp, and the mobile version is way more usable now. So I'm kind of excited about that. I'm super excited about that. So highly recommend that you go check it out. Now, the main features that were updated is that you can select either or. So for example, I'll give you an example. So if you want a dumb phone, or you also want to select a smart feature phone, so these are or categories, right? But then you also want these two and T-Mobile. So now that gets allowed, or Verizon. We're going to do Verizon. So the categories within that have multiple categories are selected by the or method now. So you can select multiple ones. And then the categories between the different, network provider category, network capability, those are ands. So the logic behind the Dumbphone Finder was updated, and then the certain features that are what I would say exclusive. So you cannot have a phone that has yes or no to the VoLTE support, but here is yes or no is now a binary choice. So you can only have yes or no with VoLTE support, which means is either or logic. WhatsApp support, same thing. You either have it or you don't. So you cannot select it, with all of these different things. So, you can have feature phones, smart feature phones, or smartphones. So that have all of these capabilities. You can have Verizon, T-Mobile compatibility. So you have better logic. This was updated. Actually, somebody sent me a message, and I was like, yeah, that makes sense. A lot of sense. So some of the categories now have a radius button, which it makes a ton more sense because they're binary choices. And whenever they're not binary choices, then they are selectable either or. This or that, show me this or that is available. And I'm still refining a few things for extra things, here and there. But you have access to all of these different things, better theming, and yeah, it's going to continue improving. So Sunny, if you don't mind me asking, how many copies of the book did I sell? I have no idea. I honestly don't know, but it's definitely more than 1,000 copies. That's for sure. I did sell more than 1,000 copies. Thankfully, a lot of you have read it, liked the book, and I mean, every so often nowadays, I get somebody that buys a book here and there, but it was just like about 1,000 plus copies. But yeah. Anyways, see you all. Have a great day. And go take a walk, take a break from the screen, and I hope it was everything helpful. See you next time.